Let's talk about the D4. The D4 is also known as the chart. If you want insight into a person's financial fortune, this is a chart to study. The D4 reveals how much wealth a person is able to accumulate and secure over their lifetime by investing it and turning it into fixed assets. The D2 shows how much money a person can earn and whether they're able to maintain a financially stable lifestyle. The D4 goes further as it shows the wealth surplus that can be directed towards real estate, home ownership, or other long-term investments. So when wealth is invested and grows and gives lasting stability, that's what the D4 is about. In this example here, we focus on home and real estate investment. If a person is moving home, then we need to look at both the D1 and D4. Right? When someone moves not just to some other part of town, but makes a bigger move, let's say they move to another city or even another country, that changes the direction of their life, and that will be indicated by the D1. But if it's simply buying real estate as part of making an investment, we just analyze the D4. Let's begin with this person's Rahu Dasha and analyze first the D1 to get a general understanding of what was going on in her life at that time. Rahu Dasha started when she was 13 years old. At that time, she became restless and curious and eager to explore the wider world. You can see here that Rahu is in Gemini, and that sparked a strong curiosity and desire to seek out new experiences. Rahu is also here conjunct Venus, who is the 9th lord of foreign cultures and long-distance travel. Rahu is conjunct the Sun, who is the 12th lord, again indicating life abroad. And then we also have Rahu's lord Mercury, who is placed in Cancer, the sign of foreign countries. So it's no surprise that her exploration took place in a foreign country during Rahu Dasha. Now, Rahu itself is a foreign factor. Rahu stirs really strong desires and fantasies and a pull towards the unknown. It creates strong desires to experience what's different, what's distant, and what lies beyond the familiar. And when Rahu connects with other foreign factors in the chart, it more readily points towards exploring different countries, traveling abroad, or even living abroad. And in this case, we got multiple foreign factors tied to Rahu. And so this person actually moved abroad during Rahu Dasha. And since Rahu is also here ruled by Mercury, who is placed in Cancer, she is not only dreaming of a new life, with Mercury here involved, she is determined to build financial fortune and create the best life possible in that new country. So what is her capacity for financial fortune in Rahu Dasha? Well, for that we need to analyze Rahu in the D4. Rahu gives the effects of the planets it's conjunct, aspected by, and also its lord. And of course, we need manifesting planets to create fortune. And so here Rahu is conjunct Venus, who is not a manifester, but it can increase the value and quality of an existing home or existing real estate. But since Venus is not the lord of Rahu, it won't be able to manifest financial fortune. The moon is also not a manifester either, and it's also waning and malefic and will rather subtract from fortune over time. Rahu is here aspected by the Sun, who is in a natural friend sign and can stabilize fortune but not increase. And Ketu here is not a manifester either. So all we can do is now check Rahu's lord Mercury. And here we see manifestation, right? First of all, Mercury is the karaka of fortune, and it also rules here the fourth cusp, and it is aspected by Jupiter, a manifestor, and by its lord Saturn. And Mars here from its own sign in Scorpio will not cause problems, rather it will help the person overcome problems related to home and real estate. So now we know that their most important time for buying real estate will be in Rahu Mercury. And if they try to buy real estate before that in Rahu Dasha, then they will struggle and not be able to do so. Since a young age, this woman has dreamt of making a fortune in a foreign country so that she has enough money to buy a home and settle down there. And in the D4, we can see why. She has these foreign factors in the Lagna, and that points to a path of establishing a fortunate life abroad. Rahu is the karaka of all things foreign. Venus here rules the 12th house of foreign lands. And then the moon here also rules Cancer, the sign of foreign countries. And so this really substantiates the theme of seeking emotional security tied to a home in a foreign country. So here Rahu, Venus and the moon in the Lagna in the D4 represent her long-term aspiration to manifest her ideal life and dream home in a foreign country. However, with the Lagna Lord Mercury in the 8th house, this path comes with its fair share of ups and downs. But this is always what Rahu is about. There's always a gradual unfolding, and with time she'll understand more and more what Rahu is trying to teach her and how she can achieve her dream. So Rahu started when she was 11 years old. Now, Rahu rarely produces good results. It's a very unsettling period where old structures suddenly collapse and leave us in a state of fear and confused and without direction. The familiar all of a sudden does not feel safe anymore. And at the same time, during this period, the new hasn't really taken shape yet either. And so all one can do is during this time is hang in and adapt as much as possible to the changing times. Now next comes Rahu-Jupiter. Usually Rahu-Jupiter will not kick off Rahu Dasha with a major breakthrough unless Jupiter is directly connected to Rahu. Many times when clients come during their Rahu-Jupiter, they are frustrated and disillusioned. They have just gone through an intense and chaotic 3 years of Rahu and their life has turned upside down. And now Rahu-Jupiter gives them a sense of hope, a glimpse of a better future. But unless Rahu is conjunct, aspected or ruled by Jupiter, nothing significant will happen. And so here we can see that Jupiter is not directly connected here to Rahu and therefore won't bring about meaningful change and progress. Jupiter is the 7th lord, which is the 4th from the 4th, and it does have a real estate agenda. And this person really wants to move and start a new life in another country. But there's no direct connection here between Jupiter and Rahu, and so nothing happened. Next comes Rahu-Saturn. Anytime a person is making such a big move and emigrate to another country, this has to be indicated in the D1 because it's going to dramatically change the course of their life. So now let's have a look at the D1. Saturn is in the 12th house of foreign countries, and this points towards creating a new foundation of life in a foreign country. At the same time, Saturn is also fourth from Mars, who is the Karaka of home and real estate. And so Saturn separates her from her home and roots. And so this Saturn position in the fourth from Mars is really very similar to Saturn in the fourth house that separates a person from their roots and homeland. And so the D1 shows a possibility of relocation, but unless this is strongly confirmed in the D4, the move might not happen. So let's go back here to the D4. In the D4, Saturn rules Mercury, who is the first lord of self and the fourth lord of home. Saturn also rules the 9th cusp of foreign travel and the 12th cusp of short or long-term stays in foreign countries. And in some cases, the 12th house, when connected to the 4th house, can mean a complete loss of one's homeland and a permanent settlement abroad. This is also what happened in this case here. During Rahu Saturn, she moved permanently to another country. For such a big move to happen, Rahu and Saturn, they need to have a direct connection and also a shared agenda. And we can see here that Rahu and Saturn are not directly connected. There's an indirect connection through Rahu's Lord Mercury that Saturn rules and also here manifests. But this is an indirect connection, and I would not count here to make such a big move happen. Now, why did it still happen? The reason is because Rahu and Saturn have an inherent connection. Saturn, it is said that Rahu gives the results of Saturn, because Saturn is the foundation of all our Rahu experiences. And so Rahu, Saturn is always an important period, whether they are directly connected or not. All that we now need to look for is that they have the same agenda, and then a very powerful event can actually take place. So we can see here that Rahu is ruled by Mercury, who is the first and fourth lord. It's in the eighth house of change. And Saturn is ruling Mercury, who is the first and fourth lord, and it also rules here the 9th and 12th house, and even also the 8th house. So they share the same agenda of leaving behind the home country and moving to another country. Now Rahu and Saturn are both malefic planets and separators, and so leaving was a deeply painful experience for her, and her family was really upset. Rahu Saturn rarely is an enjoyable time. Whatever actions are taken during this time come with a loss, with emotional tension and a lot of anxiety. But usually the circumstances have become so unbearable that there's no choice but to walk away. And if Saturn has some manifesting power, there's a chance that towards the end of this dark period, there's actually a glimmer of light that begins to appear. And when we have a look at the D1, we can see that Saturn is here in the 12th house of loss, of their past and their current life situation. And Saturn is not conjunct or aspected by anything. And this shows that this person has already made up their mind, and there's really nothing that can change that. They just want to leave and start a new life. And this becomes possible in the D4 because Saturn here gets manifested by Mercury. And so during Rahu Saturn, they decide to settle in, to move to another country, and actually even end up settling in quite nicely in their new environment.